Does anybody live in New York City, and did you just have your house sprayed with pesticides? I was in my living room, my windows are open, these trucks come by, they're making these dystopian announcements. Run inside, get inside.
The city is applying pesticides to reduce the threat of the West Nile virus.
What the?
Exposure to the pesticide, please. Go indoors immediately until the trucks have passed. The city is applying pesticides to reduce the threat of the West Nile virus.
This is the creepiest.
Exposure to the pesticide, please. Go indoors.
Look at this. What the f***? It's going right over my window.
Holy frickin' cow. Imagine trying to have dinner and the lovely, oh so caring government rolls down your street being like, "This is your bi-weekly dose of pesticides. Don't worry, it will destroy your gut, your immune system, and neurological health. But it's all for the greater good." Yeah, right. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Zurkadowski here of wearechange.org, and there's a lot of absolutely crazy and absurd news to get into today. As, of course, domestically, the news is pretty troubling to say the least, as the kids are not all right, as the situation here domestically turns for the worst, as internationally, it's already been there for quite a while, as we have some surprising developments from Ukraine that we're going to be talking about in this particular video. All the news, all the latest updates here on this independent media broadcast. And if you like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. The clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was shot by Tyler Fisher, who for some reason still lives in the draconian, technocratic, communistic state of New York, being in its literal sphincter, New York City, where he was just given a free dose of government pesticides that have been linked to some very questionable health defects that some people have been reporting dealing with after being sprayed with it. And Tyler usually does really funny comedy bits, but this time, he really makes me happy that I don't live there anymore. As, of course, I definitely don't trust the government with anything. The government can't even run a post office well. Look what happens at the DMV. And now you expect me to trust them, that they're stopping mosquitoes right at the end of summer? Hey, hold on. What? That doesn't add up. That doesn't make any sense at all, as, of course, New York City also is dealing with a lot of turbulent, government-engineered social chaos as tensions have been flaring up in Staten Island as people there are protesting their new lovely neighbors that are being imported into their state, replacing their local populations, increasing the cost of living, making housing prices go up, labor prices go down, all a part of an essential Koch brothers billionaire plan to benefit the multinational corporations, as hundreds of thousands of, quote, asylum seekers are being reintroduced into the local population of New York City, with some people there protesting that, specifically in Staten Island, where police officers are arresting local citizens, pushing them to the side to allow migrant buses to live amongst the local population that is predominantly introducing fighting-age males from all over the world that are being incentivized to come to places like New York, since, of course, the local politicians have declared it a sanctuary city. Now they're saying the city's going to be destroyed because of the policies that they openly called for. As, of course, the city's going to be taxing more people to pay for all of this, as they're creating a more difficult situation for the poorest people in the city already that are going to have to deal with a lot of the larger ramifications of an open immigration policy that clearly don't benefit anyone other than the globalists and multinational corporations that are going to be profiting off of the nearly free labor that it provides them. All of this is happening as more populist sentiments are becoming the new norm, as there's a new politician in Argentina that's expected to be the next president of that country who is representing anarchistic, libertarian, right-leaning ideas that could light a fire here in American policy that might be influenced by what happens in Latin America. All of this as we're learning that there's a lot of crazy stuff happening behind the scenes at Fox News, according to a new book by Michael Wolff, who's claiming that Tucker Carlson, who recently interviewed Javier Milei in Argentina, was once allegedly mulling running for the presidency of the United States in order to escape his Fox News contract, as the author is also claiming that Ron DeSantis kicked Tucker Carlson's dog, as well as other salacious details of Rupert Murdoch allegedly calling Sean Hannity what many people think he is. What, if any of this is actually true? Well, who actually knows here? As of course, what Tucker Carlson has been reporting when he was on Fox News is actually coming out to be true, as originally, under the January 6th event, we were told that there was no federal involvement at all. Then we were told that there was some. Then we were told now that the FBI has even lost count to how many FBI undercover informants took part in this larger siege of the Capitol that many Democrats are comparing to Pearl Harbor. This as the current regime in power is heavily prosecuting and punishing anyone for walking into the Capitol building, as of course they're also harshly censoring and destroying the careers of independent journalists and critiques of their administration, as according to a Stanford doctor, he is accusing the Biden administration of censoring any criticisms of their policies, which according to this doctor led to catastrophic impacts on children's social skills, wrecked the economy, destroyed small mom and pop businesses, while also, of course, at the same time, allowing insane amounts of government totalitarianism. Something that, according to Politico, the government has not been successful at stopping, but only making people believe in it more, especially with their censorship efforts. We're going to be talking about this issue, plus a lot more, all later on today on LukeUnfiltered.com. As, of course, we're getting into a somewhat spicy topic that I want to fully discuss in an uncensored way on LukeUnfiltered.com. We have a lot of crazy things to get into today, as, of course, we provide you nearly a video almost every single day on LukeUnfiltered.com, specifically centered towards giving you the best information so you could make informed decisions that will not make you a Kyle or Karen NPC normie that usually is victimized by the system. We don't want victims here. We want people to thrive, to be successful, and to survive whatever is coming next. And that's why we created this quasi-secret, not-so-secret society here that you could join all by just clicking this link for less than 50 cents a day. It goes towards supporting and growing this independent media organization, as of course we have a lot of different projects underway. We just launched, by the way, our own health line supplements of some really incredible products that I can't recommend enough, that I always have here near me on my desk, because this is stuff that I personally take, that I personally like, that I think you will as well. As of course, some of these products I can't recommend enough. Again, always speak to your medical professional before taking anything into your body, but essentially, especially if you're going to be going under a lot of stress, check out the Chill Pill. If you need help sleeping, if you need help normalizing your hormones, if you want to naturally lower your cortisol levels, if you want an elevated mood, if you want proper energy levels, check out and start doing your research on takethechillpill.com. Again, lots of products, lots of stuff, all available on We Are Change Shop. As of course, we also have a lot of videos, a lot of handy information for you guys to make your own health judgment and decisions for yourself. And you should probably spend your money before it is totally devalued, as of course the Biden administration is now seeking an additional $24 billion to go over to Ukraine. This request is happening during the UN General Assembly, where we just heard comments from Joe Biden and Volodymyr Zelensky. As it's important to note here that the United States government has been giving Ukraine enough money to prolong this conflict, but never actually have a success in this larger proxy war between the East and the West. As of course now Zelensky is promising that just $25 billion more is going to help them on the quote finishing line, as already they have spent $100 billion, and their long so promised counteroffensive during the spring of this year definitely didn't lead to a lot of results, even though it is important to note here that the Ukrainians are having a lot of success, particularly in the Sea of Azov, as their use of naval drones have had a very severe impact on the Russian naval fleet that in many instances is being picked off by relatively cheap drones that are submarines or ships that are used against their main battleships and have already successfully taken down many of them, as of course the Russian naval fleet is also guarding a very important pipeline from Russia to Turkey that they fear Ukraine might try to blow up. As of course, right now with modern warfare, we are seeing naval combat being absolutely redefined as cheap drones that cost a couple $1,000s are bringing down warship that cost multi-million dollars to produce. As now today, there's also a lot of outspoken critics of where our money is actually going to, as of course, there's not a lot of transparency. There's not a lot of accountability. There's no one actually tracking where the money is going to, who's actually getting it, and if there's actually some real corruption happening here. As of course, that's been the major accusation here by a lot of individuals saying, hey, Ukraine has a lot of very corrupt bureaucrats that are ingrained in its entire system, as of course the entire Department of Defense was literally fired just a few days ago, as its top officials were kicked out of the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, highlighting some clear, real questions and concerns here to how much of that money is actually going to the local Ukrainians fighting, how much of that money is going to the crooked politicians standing in the way of it that, of course, are probably pocketing it. As we are hearing reports after reports of many Ukrainian soldiers that have been under-equipped, as currently the U.S. Speaker of the House is demanding accountability to where the money is going to while saying that he is not going to be offering no kind of blank check here. He is also being joined by U.S. Senator Rand Paul and MTG Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's opposing future funding for Ukraine, as there's also a lot of other concerns specifically regarding the human trafficking allegations that are coming out from Ukraine, as there's a video going around right now allegedly showing a human trafficker admitting that some boarding schools are being used as a front for organ harvesting right now in Ukraine. And with the level of corruption, this wouldn't surprise me to be true, as of course it's also important to note here that the Ukrainian government is currently imprisoning American citizen journalists who have dared to criticize the regime, who are paying the ultimate price from it, that specifically being American blogger Gonzalo Lira, who is currently being locked up in a Ukrainian prison after previously talking about the inhumane treatment that he has been going through, detention, imprisonment, and alleged torture, all because he criticized the Ukrainian government while currently living inside of that country. All of this as another American journalist has been put on the Ukrainian hit list, and that, of course, being Jack Posobiec. All of these actions, of course, not helping the Ukrainian cause here in the United States, as, of course, more and more people are becoming apprehensive towards supporting a regime that literally imprisons and puts American journalists on kill lists. As we're also finding out that the FBI allegedly is also working with big tech social media with the Ukrainian security services, going after specific accounts that criticize the Ukrainian regime. As an American, trans-Ukrainian military spokesperson, by the way, was just suspended after threatening that Ukraine would hunt down and kill those who criticize the Ukrainian government, with a video that, of course, has been going viral all on social media, highlighting Junior Sergeant Sarah Ashton Cirillo, who, quote, now has been officially suspended from the duties of being the spokesperson for the Ukrainian government. And yeah, you would think threatening critics of the Ukrainian government that is known for being corrupt and trying to hold that government accountable, trying to make sure that, the money that is actually given to them actually goes to the people that actually need it. Having those people be threatened with their lives is not a democratic cause that the corporate media, of course, has been cheering on during this entire conflict. As, of course, many TV stations, political opposition party, and even churches have been censored in Ukraine. All of this is happening as the Ukrainian leadership soon will be facing off with Russian government officials for the first time in a UN Security Council that many people are warning will be very explosive, as a lot of people are expecting a full, all-out global conflict here. as it looks like the Ukrainian government has just hit inside of Russia again, specifically an airfield where Putin keeps his doomsday plane, and even in Sudan, where reports are coming in right now that Ukrainian special services were the ones likely responsible for a drone strike on a Wagner-backed militia inside of Africa. And with this conflict already expanding to the theater of war in Russia, in Sudan, with Poland and Romania already being struck inside of their countries, with Azerbaijan and Armenia going at it, I think it's fair to say that this conflict is definitely expanding in a very dangerous way, which, in my opinion, is absolutely reckless and stupid. More money would prolong this conflict. I think it's time more than ever for detente. It's time more than ever for peace negotiations. It's time for people to come to sit at the table, not to argue with each other, but to end the vicious life loss that is happening in Ukraine as that country is being robbed of its innocence, of its citizens. And more than ever, the corruption needs to be called out and life needs to be protected. If you agree with that sentiment, share this video with your friends and family members, as of course this war is absolutely reckless. It's absolutely stupid. And I think both parties need to come to the table. Both parties need to put an end to this. Both parties won't get everything that they want, but obviously that's how peace negotiations work. But it's going to be a whole lot better than innocent people losing their lives. Again, crazy situation. I got a lot more to say about this that I'm going to be talking about on lukeunfiltered.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and that's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.